Welcome to APEA Dog Grooming. Today we are grooming this very difficult pup. He's okay with shaving his back, it's just that when we try to use a clipper or go anywhere near his legs is where, oh dear lord, hold on to your clippers. So this is about the third time he's come in and seen me. I'm not sure what quite happened that made him so frightful of getting his feet and legs touched. On his back legs, they're okay. It's not too bad, it's just on his front legs that where he goes berserk and doesn't like me going anywhere near with a clipper. So I have came to the conclusion that I don't use the clippers on his front legs. I just use my scissors. And yeah, it's a little time consuming and I don't like it because you don't get as close to the skin as, you know, a clipper would, but you gotta do what you gotta do to get that job done. He comes in every 3 to 4 months. So we do a complete shave down on his back with a number 7 and a number 10 on his legs so that the next time I see him they're not completely matted, and a number 10 is just always so much safer than using a number 7, especially if he's wiggling around and being a little difficult. So I do have a muzzle on him, even though he looks like he's doing very good right now. He does snap at me. He doesn't give out warnings. That's the dangerous part. The owner let me know since the beginning that he bites. He's a difficult dog and that he's been rejected from other grooming salons because of his behavior. Like I said, this is just our third time. At the very first time it was such a difficult groom. I mean, he was just jumping around the tub, like banging against it, just trying to escape, trying to bite, trying to take off the muzzle. And right now you can see he's doing actually pretty well. It doesn't look as bad as a difficult dog would appear. I mean, he's not like a super aggressive dog, he's just a difficult dog that will, you know, sometimes snap at you, but that's what the muzzle is for. So I know it's pretty controversial to muzzle a dog when grooming. A lot of groomers don't do it. A lot of groomers immediately do it even though they don't show signs of aggression, and others just resist to the fact that we put muzzles on dogs sometimes. And I mean, I'm all for the no stress, try to teach him to make it a positive experience and everything, but everything is a process. I mean, you can't just jump in and say, I'm not gonna muzzle him even though he bites me, even though this and even though that. You can't do that. You just have to let the muzzle go little by little. At least that's what I think. I mean, you have to be an expert to really do something like that. I mean, I don't have the guts to do something like that. Some people do, and that's totally fine. That's actually very admirable of them to just jump in like that and be like, oh, I'm not gonna put a muzzle, just let him bite me. I don't have the guts for that, and that's okay. I like to take things slowly, and slowly but surely, you know, he's doing pretty good, I think. His first groom with me was horrible. Horrible for him and horrible for me. It was super stressful for the both of us. But you see, on this groom, even though we've just been grooming together for 3 times, he's really shown improvement. And I'm not saying I'm never ever going to take off the muzzle. Yeah, I am eventually, but just not now. I mean, I don't trust him enough to take off the muzzle yet. I do take it off during the bath while I'm actually bathing his face, washing his face. But I put it right back on, you know, because I just don't trust him. He's a good dog. He's a lovely dog. And he's super playful and super fine with me after the groom. But it's just the grooming process that I don't trust him with. So I'd rather be safe than sorry. So we're just continuing on shaving his face under that ear, trying to get everything I can with the clipper with the muzzle on so that I don't have to scissor as much because, you know, he is a biter. So right there was when he gave me a warning and said, hey, I don't like that, you better stop. So he's pretty unpredictable, and I'm just, you know, trying to comfort him, say, hey, it's okay, I'm not gonna hurt you, I'm not gonna do anything. But yeah. So I decided to give him a small mohawk since he has that very don't mess with me kind of attitude, and I just thought it would be very appropriate for him to have a mohawk. So we did that. That's why I didn't shave down his head, his skull. And I'm just realizing there that he has a skin tag that, you know, you just gotta be careful. That one is actually new. I actually write down everything in each groom. Like if I see that skin tag, that would go directly onto his card, and so the next time I see him, I will read that card and be, oh, you know, there's this he didn't have the last time I saw him, but he grew it, and I just let the owners know. So yeah. So I know you guys can hear that like crying noise. It's just my own dog. He's whining because he wants me to carry him, but I can't carry him. I'm editing this video.
So
like I said earlier, I'm just using my number 7 FC blade to get as much hair off as I can. I don't want to spend forever drying him just because I know for a fact he will not like the dryer. So I'm just trying to cut everything off during this rough cut so he doesn't go crazy when I blow dry him. So what I'm trying to do here is just trying to do his legs with my clipper, just putting the clipper against him while it's on so he can feel the vibration, but he's not having it. I mean, he really dislikes it, and he's already licking his lips, which is a sign that I'm about to bite you. So I'm using a number 10 on his legs. This is a blade you should always use if you have a difficult dog. You never want to use a number 7 with a difficult dog, because if he or she moves just like he did, you could catch the skin in between that blade teeth. Like the teeth are significantly further apart from each other more than a number 10, so it's just easier to catch skin with that, and you don't want to do that. So a number 10 is just your safest bet. And yeah. So now that I'm editing this video, it doesn't look like he's being too crazy, but trust me, he was growling, he was snarling, even through the muzzle. Like, he was not having it. He doesn't like it. Alright, so you know I do everything in my tub, and now he doesn't want to get up. He was just sitting the whole time. He was being difficult. He didn't want to be touched, and he didn't want to stand up. But I was just using my, I'm not sure what that's called, squeegee thingamabob, just to, you know, help him, but without it being my hand, help him get up. And this strap that I put under his belly is actually just a backpack strap, like one of those very thick ones. I just put it under him enough for him to not sit back down. Like, it's not carrying his weight. It's not gonna hurt him in any way. It's just there for him to prevent from sitting down. I do use it on some dogs, not all dogs, but I use it so that they don't sit, and I can do the legs or the sanitary area or the nails, just for dogs who aren't that cooperative. It's just a sort of helper for them to stop wiggling around. And you can actually see it's working for me. Like, it's really helping to get things done. It helps support him a little bit so that I can get his tail, his back legs that he lets me do. Just helps me just, you know, go through the process a little bit quicker. I'm still using my hand under him to remind him to not sit down or put on all the weight on that strap, but it just helps get things done. So I'm doing pretty quickly that those legs, because I know he doesn't like it and I know he's not here for it. So I'm just trying to go through as quickly as I can. Probably go inside the sanitary area just to get it out of the way and just start the bath already, because we've been at this for at least half an hour or 20 minutes or so. So he's just throwing a fit. I mean, he wants to get off that grooming loop, and he did. He was just wearing that strap underneath his belly and he got out of the grooming loop. So I just, you know, put my hand around the belly strap so that he wouldn't get out of it. And yeah, he's really going for that fit he's throwing. Like, he wants to get that muzzle off. He wants to get off of that tub, you know. But I can't let him do it. And things get a little hectic. He really gets riled up on getting that muzzle off and not wanting to be there, but this groom has to happen. I mean, he was being really difficult, but it just has to happen. I'm not sure if I want to put this on the internet now that I'm seeing it, but dogs like this come to shops every day. Like, it's not new. And for me to reject this dog, it's just not an option. I mean, what's left if not a sedated grooming? And I really don't want him to go through that, even though he gives me a hard time. I just know that it's not gonna be good for him on the long run, being sedated or taking some kind of mild sedation or whatever. He just has to learn that grooming has to be done, and I don't support sedating dogs to get groomed. I mean, you don't get sedated when you're going to get your nails done or a haircut or anything like that. So he just has to learn, and it's a process. Like I said, it's not going to be overnight. It's not going to be on his first 3 grooms. I mean, this is nothing. what you saw there is nothing compared to our first groom. So after that fit, I just let him have his fit for a second and then just continued on. I'm not gonna give him any breaks. Not long ones at least, just a couple seconds or a couple minutes. But just make sure that he's not so riled up that, his heart starts beating too fast and gets overworked or anything like that, because that can also happen. So be careful with that. Just give him a couple seconds and continue on. So not only you have to make sure that the dog is secure, like you saw, once he got out of that grooming loop, he was just uncontrollable. So once you have that control back with that dog, it's super important that you yourself keep calm as well. It's just as important as that grooming loop. If you're so nervous or you're so fed up or you're so mad that he or her is just throwing a fit like that, if you're upset, it's just gonna make him or her more upset. So keep calm, keep doing what you have to do, and get that groom done. So as you saw there on your bottom right corner, that's his sister. She also comes in with him. She's not difficult at all. I mean, she just looks at him and goes, "Why are you doing this?" Well, I think so, because she's super calm and just lets me do everything. And like I said, I don't know what happened. I don't know what he went through for him to be like that, or maybe he just doesn't like getting groomed. There's dogs like that, I guess. I don't know. This is just part of dog grooming. You don't know their background. You don't know what happens in other salons. You don't know whether maybe he's being mistreated at home, or you don't know. So, or maybe he's just like that. Maybe he's just afraid of other people, which I don't think is his case, because he's very friendly once he's off that grooming tub. Like, he's just a regular dog, and that is why I don't trust him, because you saw what he can do. You saw in the beginning he was very calm, very chill, very, oh yeah, you can do whatever, and then all of a sudden he goes, nope, I'm not gonna do this today, and he gets really riled up, and that's the reason why he wears a muzzle. Like, it's gonna take a long time for him to get my trust enough so where he can be groomed without a muzzle, and that's just part of the process, I think. So I know I'm taking a very long time to do this rough cut, but I just want to get every last piece of hair I can with the clipper so that he doesn't have to stay too long under the dryer, because I know he's not gonna like that, and why put him through it, Why spend, so much time doing something he really dislikes, as like the dryer? It's even worse than this rough cut. I mean, why put him through that if you can do as much as you can before the drying part? Remember, this is just the rough cut. We haven't even bathed him yet, and he's being crazy. So, as I'm watching this while I'm editing, just something popped into my head. How do you define a good or bad dog in terms of grooming? You don't, I think, because you don't know what he or she have been through. You don't know what the fear or where the aggression is coming from. So how do you define if it's a good, bad, or a bad dog? I don't think there is such thing as a bad dog. I just think it's a dog who has gone through some stuff that makes him or her be the way they are. Alright, so now I'm just shaving with a number 10 blade under that ear flap, since I know he's not gonna get ear plucking because he's already unsure as is. So I'm just cutting away all the hair that is on his inner ear flap so that the ear can breathe. So when dog groomers say that the ear can breathe, it's always kind of funny for me because, well, ears don't breathe. But what we mean is that airflow can go into that ear canal and make it as dry as possible, making it so that no bacteria or debris or earwax get stuck in that hair, and just allow it to, the airflow. I think that's more of a appropriate term, so that the air can flow into the ear canal rather than a breathing ear. Something I forgot to say as well is that when you're handling a dog like him, it's really important for you to praise him or pet him when he's doing good, or when he or she lets you do whatever you want to do. And that's pretty important, letting them know when they're doing okay and when they're doing good and when they're doing bad. It just gives them a sense of comfort and being, oh, okay, well, that wasn't so bad. Another important thing I forgot to mention in the beginning of this video is that he is not neutered. So I think that has to do a lot with his temperament, his behavior. Just neutering a dog takes that edge off. It just, the hormones aren't flowing through him as a normal neutered dog. So alrighty, so now we are in the bath and he's still wearing a muzzle because I don't trust him, and we are just rinsing him off after the bath, which is, you guys, an accomplishment. Like, when I say accomplishment, I mean accomplishment. He's doing so well. He used to just throw himself, throw himself against the tub and just get all riled up, just as you saw earlier, and want to get out of the tub and not get wet, and then growl because he's getting wet and all of that. So I think we are doing pretty well. He's really calm. The water is nice and warm as usual, and he's having a blast, I think. So he's really not wanting me to touch his feet, even in the bath. I'm not even using clippers or anything. He just doesn't like getting his front paws touched. And that's okay. I mean, he is wearing a muzzle, so And I don't have to do anything but, bathe him, so it's not bad. Just taking my time and doing everything slowly and calmly. Make sure he knows that he's safe and that he's okay. And yeah. So from what I can gather, this is going to be a pretty long video. So I have taken off his muzzle just because I can feel his demeanor being a lot calmer. And I also needed to get those eye boogers out. I mean, you can't do much with a muzzle on, so just trying to do everything as thoroughly as I needed to. It's so important to rinse all of that product that you put in the coat while bathing, because if you leave it, when they get out in the sun, it'll be so itchy. And as I've said in almost every video, wouldn't you itch too if you left shampoo or conditioner in your skin and then went out in the sun? And the muzzle goes back on, you guys, because we are now ready to towel dry. So we're going to towel dry the most we can in the tub so that he doesn't have to be put under the dryer as long, because I know he'll hate that and I don't have to deal with so much drying time. So just gonna towel dry him quickly but thoroughly. Another thing with him is that he doesn't like getting brushed. So we're just going to towel dry him and use a hand dryer on him. I have explained in other videos why I use human hair dryers on some dogs, and he is one of those dogs. Alright, so now that he is dry, I'm going to start touching up his ears so that we are done with that. And always put your thumb, with your non-cutting hand, put your thumb right against that ear leather so that when you trim, you're not gonna catch his ear leather. That would just be devastating. So make sure to do that. Brush gently on his ears since we did shave them off. So use your fingers as a guard to protect their ears. Alright, so now we're just tidying up with scissor work, very mild scissor work in the back legs since he did let us use the clippers. So just taking off anything that sticks out, trying to use my scissors as much as I can at this point and not use a clipper again because I know it stresses him out. So So at this point, I don't have an exact order in which I do things. I'm just doing things as he lets me do them. Usually right after the bath I would do a nail trim, a sanitary trim, and then the final cut, and the last thing would be the head, just so that I can get a feel of what the proportion of the head to the body should be. So that's the reason why I do the head at last. And yeah, so we are just doing anything that he will let us do at this point. Which, yeah, it takes longer, but you know, it's okay. So since I'm doing most of the final trim with scissors, if not all of it with hand scissoring, I could take forever just to, perfect the final cut on him, but I'm just doing whatever he will let me do at this point. I'm not the best at scissor work, and he's not the best at being patient with me for the scissor work, so we have to come to a compromise and be just like, that's good enough. So I know my camera angle is just horrible here. I'm really sorry about that, but I'm just scissoring his front paws, trying to keep his face away from my hand with my left hand and cutting with my right hand. So even though he does have a muzzle, dogs can bite sometimes with the muzzle on, and since my hand is so close to his face, I don't want to risk anything, so just be careful. So what makes it more difficult, I think, in his particular case, is that he's actually a poodle mix, so his hair is really curly. So when I try to hand scissor, I have to pull the hair just so it sticks out, and then I can make a cut. Like if he were more of a Maltese mix, his hair would be straighter, so it'll stick out more, and I think just that makes it so much easier. But since it's curly, it just kind of sticks to his skin. And yeah, so now I have switched my grooming loop to the normal one I usually use. The one with the orange hook is the one I use for baths, and the other, which gets wet a lot, and the other one is the one I use for when they're nice and dry and up on my stand. So I have just switched those grooming loops so I can have a better angle to work those front legs. Something I don't usually talk about in my grooming videos is groomer safety, and what mean by that is the things you use to protect yourself, such as gloves, face masks, a groomer's helper. In my case, I just use a hook that's in the corner of my bathtub, the apparel you use, the shoes you wear, just earmuffs, all of that, all the things you use to protect yourself. I think I'm gonna make a video for that because I don't think it's something that a lot of groomers talk about, yet it's very important, because if you're not okay, then you're not going to be able to work, and if you're not going to be able to work, then you're not going to be able to make money, so something I really take seriously is my safety and how well I take care of myself in terms of dog grooming. So I just edited out that part because all you could see was the background and my hand moving. Like, you couldn't see anything I was doing with the dog, so I just cut that out. And here we are. So like I said earlier, just doing a couple of snips and then rewarding him with a nice cuddle, because I know it takes a lot for him to trust me with his front paw. So just, tell him he's a good boy. So even though he looks pretty calm right now and pretty chill and okay with what I'm doing to him, he actually broke my muzzle and the clip thing that I used to hang the groomer loop on. He broke that, so you just have to be patient and keep an eye out. Always make sure that your client is safe and that you're safe. Alright, so now I'm just trimming his nails. He's really not up for that, but it has to happen. It's part of the groom, it's part of the process, and he just has to learn that even though he doesn't like it, it's gonna happen anyway. So I realized then that he actually didn't have a lot of nail to be cut, to be trimmed, but I still just cut off the tip just to get him used to the trimmer, and just to realize that it wasn't gonna hurt, it wasn't that bad, that he's actually making it a lot worse than it is. And I know it looks like I'm yanking at him and pulling at him and being really aggressive with him, but I promise you, I'm not that kind of groomer. I just have to get things done, and I think for his own good that he has to learn that grooming is not something that is scary or something to bite over. I'm just slowly but surely trying to reassure him with every time he comes in that I'm not going to hurt him. Alright, so I took him off my little table thing on my tub and just took off the muzzle and started to snip around his face and get everything off of him where the muzzle was, where I couldn't reach because of the muzzle. So I do have my left hand on his mouth, on his muzzle, because I don't trust him, you guys, but I still want to get all of those hairs, and I wasn't holding like super tight or anything that would hurt him. I was just reminding him, hey, you can't snap at me. So here are some before and after pictures. He was very okay. After the groom, he was as if nothing had happened, and he was pretty happy and just wagging his tail and everything. But I think we did better than the last time he came in, and we're just gonna take it groom by groom. Alright guys, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay safe out there, and happy grooming. Bye!